The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And we're back this week with a regular episode. If you did not listen to our last episode where we interviewed Adam Sandy of Zamperla, stop right now, turn this one off, and go listen to that one.
Yeah,
because it was awesome. It was a blast to be able to talk to him, and he talked about some pretty cool stuff. So
yes.
If you're coming from that, thank you for listening. And if you haven't listened yet, that's your job before this one. So
Yes, no, definitely. I was going to say, if anybody doesn't know, Zamperla is actually the ride manufacturer that is currently building the Wild Mouse at Cedar Point. So
super cool to have him on. So thanks again to Adam. That was super awesome for all of us, and hopefully everybody enjoys listening to it.
Yeah, it should be one back in our feed. Anyway, now that we're kind of out of the way with housekeeping, we're just going to jump straight into news this week because we have several stories to talk about. But first up on the list is a Boardwalk update for Karsten. How many days away is opening day?
I know, like how you asked. No, it's going to be 17 currently right now, and then it's going to be 16 tomorrow.
Cool.
So by the time you're listening to this, 16.
Yeah, it'll be 16 days until Cedar Point is open for the 2023 season.
Or 15 if you go to OSU Day.
Yeah.
Okay, or 15. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely the time is ticking. You can see that they are in crazy mad scramble. What's nice is Tony and the Cedar Point team actually turned the webcam over to the Boardwalk area once again, so you can see that all of that area. You can see they did a ton since the last time they had it there, which was, I think, they moved it around like April 1st or so, something like that. So it's been a few weeks. They actually have a ton of new concrete going all the way from, it looks like, Gatekeeper all the way down, all the way until you get to the Windseeker area. They've got all kinds of, looks like a ton of different landscapings. It's not just going to be like a flat concrete. It's gonna be really, really good to where it's gonna show off a lot of bushes and trees and things like that, which is cool because like I'm glad that it's not just a straight up like.
There's actually going to be some landscaping elements to it.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to have a lot of different elements, things like that. Little random path. I like the path on the side of Wild Mouse all the way over by Windseeker. It looks like it goes behind Wild Mouse, so
and like right up to the actual boardwalk.
Yeah, right up to the actual boardwalk, which would be really cool. Really cool to see. They've also got these giant pillars. I've noticed kind of big foundational pillars throughout, like on the over by Windseeker. There's some over by the Giant Wheel. And I'm sure I'm missing some other ones. So I'm curious to see if they're going to have like a sign that possibly says something there, or if they're going to have lights that go through something like that. I don't know. I'm really excited. Matterhorn looks almost like it's ready to go. Atomic Scrambler looks to be still in pieces, but it's still coming back together. And then the Grand Pavilion, they're still working on that. It seems like they start from like 7 a.m. and they go until like just until the sun, you can't see the sun anymore. So they're working extremely hard on that. Actually, a little funny update right now. I'm looking at the webcam live. They have the station lights on Wild Mouse, and you can kind of see some workers walking around out there. And it's about like 9 o'clock, 9:30 or so. And I could say that they were testing the coaster, which is interesting. So I don't know if they're trying to get some last minute tests in where people aren't like around the coaster and they're trying to dial it in or something. But yeah, so I'm super excited. Like I'm stoked. Summer's just about here. We got rid of the stinking snow that we had last weekend, and it's gonna be 80 degrees like within the next few days. So I'm excited. Are you guys as pumped as I am?
The snow wasn't last weekend. It was 2 days ago. The day before that, it was 80, and tomorrow it's going to be 80.
Everything kind of blends together. I'm sorry,
want
it's
to
not
point
like
that
80
out
degrees in tropical weather like Kyle has all the time.
Yeah,
we had it on Saturday.
I'm still excited though. Coaster stock, I'm pumped for that. I know that we're kind of in the works of planning another summer trip, the three of us plus some guests somewhere. So I'm super pumped for that. But yeah, this is the fun part of the year where I've been going to my Florida parks all winter, and now I get to branch out and other places are opening. I'm toying with the idea of going to over Georgia here pretty soon too.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's about a 6-hour drive for me, so not terrible. But yeah, I
like that park a lot.
Not too bad. That's a nice little park. Nice little park, but yeah. So anyway, Boardwalk construction is moving crazy ahead, and if you want to watch rides test things like that, go on Cedar Point's
Wild Mouse has been testing pretty regularly during the day
webcam page. I do want to say really quick, it looks like, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like the cheese car is still not on the track with Wild Mouse.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a little blob of like yellow was just kind of sitting there, so I don't know if they're just trying to get all all the cars kind of dialed in and then adding one more, because I don't know if all of the cars will fit on the actual storage track. Maybe they will.
I've noticed that too. Like the storage track is so tiny, it looks like they're almost forced to run at least 4 at a time.
Yeah, so maybe that's the reason they're trying to get everything all dialed in, and until they add the creme de la creme, the cheese.
Watch them just like pull fast on us, be like, oh, cheese car's just a photo op.
Yeah, you could just sit in the cheese car and just hang out and everything, but
everybody gets a cheese car if they want it.
yeah, for sure. So
cheese.
That's all I got.
All right, well, I think we'll just jump into our next big I don't know, pretty semi-big news story of the week. So Cedar Point came out of kind of nowhere, and Cleveland.com came out of nowhere and announced for Cedar Point that Johny Rockets, the 50s diner-esque place, sit-down restaurant that's by the Midway Games, connected to the Midway Games, will no longer be, and instead will be replaced by an arcade. So take that for what you will about the current arcade. I know I think we all kind of have our different thoughts there. But yeah, so Johny Rockets will no longer be a restaurant. It'll be just walk in and go play some games and leave. So I don't know that's kind of the gist of it. What do you guys think about this?
Kyle?
Yeah, I was really not shocked to see Johny Rockets removed, because I know that lately it seems we're in the process at Cedar Point and Cedar Fair as a whole of pulling the chain restaurants and replacing them with.
It seems to be the running of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, normally when it seems that when restaurants are closed at Cedar Fair, they're replaced with other restaurants, but Cedar Point has no lack of restaurants, so I think this is a good move. I'd rather see like an old school Fascination Parlor come back to that spot.
I was hoping for something like that
rather than just an arcade, because
that could be cool.
They already have the main arcade and it's right there. I mean, 100 feet away.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to mention because of that fact, it's like it makes me wonder, like, is there plans for the Coliseum? Are we removing the arcade and getting the long room or dark ride? Are we putting in the town hall museum that was for the town hall, or are they going to put something like that up there? Are they going to just demo the whole Coliseum? Yeah. It just seems like very, very over the top redundant to have another arcade. Now, it's obviously not going to be as big as the main arcade, but more just, coin operated games or gift card operated games like we're like in the main arcade, like Kyle said, 100 feet away. So I think that this story is a lot bigger than it seems on the surface come 3 or 4 years from now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what's interesting too is that most of the games in the Coliseum, Cedar Point doesn't own; they lease from an outside operator. So,
Oh, I did not know that.
yeah, at least I might be wrong on that, but I think that's true. So I guess don't quote me on that.
It used to be, and I think it still is. I think it's just a new company that came in that came with like all the little gift card kind of things.
Yeah, I know they redid or they got a bunch of new games in the last couple of years, and I think I remember something being like, X and Y, XYZ company coming in with.
I don't know for sure. I think the company might be called like E3 like Entertainment or something, or I'm not exactly
sure. That rings a bell.
But
I don't know. But yeah,
I hope it's not like, because I'm like in my head I'm like, I hope it's Fascination like or something like of that nature. But I'm like, it'd be interesting to go to like IAPA or something to where we'd be like, oh hey, by the way, there's a booth all the way down at like I don't know wherever, and they've got a new fangled like Fascination that's like a newer take on something. Maybe that's the case, or maybe they're putting a shooting gallery there. I know that it kind of flopped a little bit over in the Maverick area.
I hope it's nothing dumb like another VR trial.
I mean, I personally would absolutely love
really?
Like no, I was gonna say like pinball, okay. Like if they do like a pinball or something.
Well, doesn't main arcade have a bunch of old pinball machines that people don't even realize? Yeah. Maybe they're in storage.
Maybe. Or maybe it's gonna be like a VR room, but like also where you can be like competitive and playing like computer games or something. Maybe it's gonna be like very like high.
Maybe they're gonna really lean into the esports that they're putting over at the sports park.
Yeah, I mean it's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe.
Just, I don't know. I think we're thinking. At least I'm thinking like too much, and it's probably just going to be like just like a normal arcade. But I don't think it's just going to be like
they're just going to be like, oh no, we have an arcade 100 feet away from our actual arcade. That's fine.
yeah. So I don't know.
And I mean, let's be honest. Anything that happens here is not going to happen for another 4 years. Yeah. Being that we have Dragster next year, and God knows what else is in line. So
yeah.
I also have a sneaking suspicion that whatever happens with Johny Rocket space will just be the actual former dining room space, because that is wedged right in between the current games warehouse. And I bet part of this move too is because they need more storage in the games warehouses.
Yeah. And they're just going to kind of like the Banshee gift shop at Kings Island. They're just going to kind of throw some games in it as a filler and just...
It'll be interesting. So, I mean, maybe it will be, something. Maybe it'll be like a retro kind of game experience, just because it kind of maybe could tie into the Boardwalk theme, because they're trying to be more.
And that really fits with your pinball idea. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
Right? Or bring back some of the old games from the museum that didn't work, and
maybe fix them up somehow if that's possible. I don't know. Those things were ancient, but
yeah, those are pretty bad. So
they look fun though.
Yeah. So it'll be something to check out in 16 days when you guys get to hear this episode. So we're almost at midnight. So yeah.
All right. So what we got next? We're bad at transitions this week.
Yeah, so next is a topic I'm going to talk about, and that is a new update from Grizzly at Kings Island, which is Kings Dominion. Look, it's 9:44 on a Wednesday night, and I usually go to bed at 8:30, so I'm not too great tonight.
Okay.
Grizzly at Kings Dominion. We found out last week, I think it was last week, that there's actually some reprofiling done to Grizzly, kind of in the same sense of what happened to Beast. If you guys remember when they did the big overhaul on Beast, they reprofiled it and it became a little bit longer and a little bit steeper. So Grizzly, the first drop will now be 12 feet longer, and the new length will be 86 feet 9 inches. It will also be 10 degrees steeper, with 55 degrees now instead of 45. And not only that, but the length of the ride is growing by 12 feet. So the length will now be 3,162 feet. And this came out of their Restore the Roar campaign. As we all know, Gravity Group is coming in and really reprofiling this ride and giving it the love that it's lacked the past couple years. This is a trend that we saw started at Kings Island with Racer, and then they also did it to Beast, and now they're doing it to Grizzly. So if it works out any way like it did on the previous two rides at Kings Island, I'm super excited for this because
absolutely.
Racer went from a ride that I would ride every time, but it wasn't like my favorite attraction to
it wasn't like high up on your list.
Yeah, to a ride that I have to ride now. It is a very, very solid Kings Island ride.
And I'm sure Carson and I will touch on this, but they Gravity Group finished the whole red side of the Racer this past off season. So I mean, Racer was butter smooth. It was really, really phenomenal.
And they had already finished the blue side, right?
Yeah, the blue side is still like half done. Like
Okay.
whatever it was last year when you rode it.
Okay.
Last is what it's still. From what I've gathered, but yeah, the red side is completely done and it's phenomenal.
Like you said, we might go into this later, but are there any noticeable changes on the Beast?
No, I don't think so. Not that I noticed, but I will say that the Beast is still running like butter smooth like it was last year.
Well, I remember at Coaster Stock last year, somebody had asked Don Helbig, their PR director, if this was going to be, actually, I think it was me, if this was going to be a multi-year transformation.
I think that was you.
Yeah, if it was going to be a multi-year transformation, and he said it was going to take a couple of off seasons. So,
yeah.
Well, maybe they'll go back and finish it next off season. But yeah, I mean, Carson, maybe you thought differently, but I didn't see anything new on the Beast this year. But again, like, I think they hit all the rough spots of the ride last off season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Beast, in April, I have never gotten better rides on that thing. It was really flying, and it was
hauling.
It was awesome.
It was hauling really well. And it seems like Kings Island has kind of got they kind of fixed the tweaks and things like that, like because they put a new control system on there and things like that. Like they kind of seem like they got all the bugs out, and it worked really flawlessly on opening day, which was really nice. You know, everything out. Everybody was parking in the station correctly, and everything was opening and closing and stuff. And
at least when we were around the ride.
Cool. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah,
I know on pass holder day it was having some issues, but I mean, it's opening day.
Yeah, we can get into more of that later, but yeah, that's about it from Grizzly. Just that there's some slight reprofiling going on, but like I said, I'm super excited, especially with my company's headquarters being like an hour away from that park.
You're gonna definitely want to go over there and check that out and ride it, and not fly a drone over it, but
no, not anymore. I gave up those days. But staying with King's Dominion, we have a new restaurant announcement.
Yeah, so I think right around the same time they announced, or they put out that news about Grizzly, King's Dominion's been running the social media campaign called #TasteTheSmoke KD. I feel like it's a little over the top for a restaurant. And they have like a phone number you could call, and some firefighter dude would.
I think everybody wants to know.
The phone.
Evan, you're a foodie. Did you call the number?
I did, but of course I did. But it was like, I thought about it when I was leaving work, and I didn't have like great reception, so it was kind of like, calling all phone, so I couldn't really hear it that well, and then I forgot about it. But I'm sure you could probably still call the number. The number is 804-201-4316, and some firefighter dude will basically just invite you to eat his barbecue.
So everyone pause the podcast right now.
Yes.
Call the number and listen to what it says.
Yes, do that. So after you do that, I will tell you the menu. Pause. Okay. So anyways, basically this firefighter dude told you to come eat his barbecue at the reimagined Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's called Firehouse Barbecue. And just a little excerpt from the King's Dominion blog. It says the menu highlights entrees like brisket, smoked pork, hand-breaded chicken tenders, and jalapeno smoked sausage.
Ooh.
You'll get to try sides such as ranch-style baked beans, mac and cheese, glazed carrots, street corn, southern coleslaw, southern potato salad, and fresh cornbread. In-house made desserts will also be available, like peanut butter pie, banana pudding, and loaded brownies.
Loaded brownies. Wow.
Yeah, this sounds like Backbeat.
I was going to say
Farmhouse all in one.
And
all
it sounds
mixed into one. Really, really, really good.
And I really like that they went kind of overboard with their teasing and being hey, and getting this phone number, and that's really cool.
Oh, there's something else here at the bottom. It says concept. Guest walk past an antique fire wagon parked in front of the converted fire station into a room where pictures of past Engine House 75 crews and displays of old fire equipment line the walls. Helmets, fire coats, boots, ladders, hoses, and axes decor the interior of the restaurants, along with the painted logo of Sparky, the engine company's Dalmatian mascot. Guests can put out the fire from the zesty barbecue sauces with a cold, refreshing beverage.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Like I said, this sounds like Farmhouse and Backbeat all mixed in one.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for this. Kings of Minions really been knocking it out of the park with food lately. They just opened Grain and Grill 3 years ago,
something like that.
And then last year they opened, I don't know what the name of it, but over in Jungle Expedition they opened a place. It's got prime rib at an amusement park. Yeah. So Kings of Minions really, really.
Well, I feel like they don't really have a whole barbecue area there.
Yeah, they really don't until now.
Kind of interesting, but now that they're just hitting all the bases with this for sure.
Full on, you are getting barbecue to the upteenth extent.
Yeah, for sure. No, that sounds exciting, awesome. And it sounds cool. I can't wait to see when it opens and you can see all the pictures and stuff and everything.
Yes. So then, should I just jump right into other food items? All right. So Kings, as we kind of touched on, Carson and I were at Kings Island this past weekend, and they had just announced their own version of Grain and Grill, which is replacing the Skyline Chili on International Street. And because I know people will ask, Skyline Chili is still open in Coney Mall.
Yep.
But so in the Skyline on International Street, they're opening their own version of Grain and Grill, which sounds quite a bit different than the one that's at Kings Dominion. I know Kings Dominion has kind of a steak meal, some kind of standard rotisserie chicken, a bunch of more healthier options. And that kind of seems like the theme at this one too, more healthy. But different stuff. So I'll just read through. They posted a menu outside the building when we were there, and I took a picture of it. So I'll just read through that. So the featured entrees are Moroccan chicken, glazed pork, Greek roast beef, Spanish shrimp skewers, and then the sides, and they have a load of them, are patatas bravas. I definitely butchered that. Roasted Brussels sprouts, which we saw at Farmhouse last fall. Couscous salad, Greek salad, lentil salad, green bean salad, grilled artesian bread, garlic naan bread, focaccia bread, and I saved my personal favorite for last.
Mine too.
Pierogies. Yeah, one of the sides you can get is pierogies. They don't say what kind, if they're just potato onion or what, but I don't know. That Greek roast beef and pierogi sounds like the amusement park meal of the summer for me.
I'm so excited for this. This is
going to be awesome. I'm really excited to see if it opens this coming weekend because it looked close.
It looked close.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to hear about this. And
I feel like Kings Island, you've got a sit down kind of with brew house and everything that you have to sit down kind of and eat your food and stuff. But this kind of feels like you can almost grab it and go kind of thing. And so I'm kind of excited about this. I mean, obviously they're going to have, they've got seating and stuff inside and then outside as well, but in case you wanted to walk around and eat your pierogies, and
which I do,
yeah, right.
I want all the pierogies. I'm just gonna go in there instead of. I don't want an entree and a side. I want
can I just get a loaded pierogi?
Little food hack we found out, at least at Coney Barbecue. If you don't want an entree, you can just get 3 sides as your meal plan meal. So can I, in theory, walk into Grain and Grill and just get 3 helpings of pierogies?
Ooh, that's a lot of
that's a lot of butter. That's a lot of butter.
Hey, you know what? You're in an amusement park. Dang it.
Yeah. Every day's a cheat day in an amusement park.
Right. Exactly. Even though we go almost every single day, but
Yeah, it's fine. So I don't know that we tried any other new food, but
no.
I mentioned Skyline is gone from International Street. Chick-fil-A at Kings Island is also gone, and Tom and Chi has took over that building. That also has not opened yet. And in Tom and Chi's old spot next to Diamondback, they have a new like specialty drink stand.
Or you can get frozen.
Like, did you
drinks.
inspect what's actually there? I didn't really.
It's like a bunch of cocktails, a bunch of like beer options, and then they've also got like frozen, like almost like icy, like boozy drinks kind of thing. And then you can also get like a really cool, like really tall souvenir cup that says Kings Island on it, and you can have the icy, drink or whatever from in there, which is pretty nice. So I'm super excited about all these new options that Kings Island's offering. So when Kyle comes up for Coaster Stock, we're going to be able to go check out all these places, because I'm sure by Coaster Stock, all this stuff will probably be done.
Yeah, and my one and only Coaster Stock tradition is I have to have a drink at the brew house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and they also just came out, I know you're a big fan of the Sonder Brewing Company. They just came out with strawberry funnel cake flavored beer. Carson, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was able to try. Our neighborhood friend Jared got it, and it tasted like, I don't know, like a lot of people.
I know we try to be positive, but you don't have to be positive.
I know. I actually didn't mind it, but the very bottom of the drink was kind of nah. But like, it honestly, in the beginning, it almost tasted like really like a funnel cake met with a beer. That's really what I was getting on my palate, and it didn't really mix. Like, it didn't really mix. Like, it was a very, very, very sweet beer.
Jared mentioned that it kind of tasted more like an IPA. Take that for what you will.
Yeah, it was very hoppy. Like, it was very, if someone's
for what it's worth,
so.
Jared hated it.
Yeah,
I think if you're gonna get Sonder beer, stick with the blue ice cream.
They don't make that anymore.
They don't?
No, they this is what the funnel cake beer replaced the blue ice cream ale.
Well, I'm so sorry.
Well, hopefully there's an uproar, just like when Kings Island back in the day got rid of the blue ice cream.
They did? That was a thing?
Yep. It used to be blue ice cream from Kings Island used to be like Kings Island used to have like a Smurf. I could be like super wrong, but I believe they had like a Smurf World or something like that, to where they had blue ice cream for Smurf World. Well, they got rid of the Smurf World, and then I think like a few years after they got rid of it, they got rid of the blue ice cream and replaced it with something else. And there was a crazy uproar, and they were the guests and everything weren't happy that blue ice cream was no longer available. And then I think within the next year, or it could have been a few following years, they brought back blue ice cream, and it's been back since.
Yeah, that is not something I knew.
Sonder also, like, I go to their tap room when I go to Kings Island all the time. Like, it's not a Kings Island visit unless I go to the Sonder tap room before or after the park.
That's not even that far. It's like really close to Kings Island.
It's about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's also the same direction as my uncle's restaurant, which I know you've both been to. So it works out. But they have a lot of really good beers. So even if you don't like the strawberry funnel cake ale, go to their tap room and get a 4-pack or try a flight or something.
Don't they have other Sonder beers at Kings Island that maybe aren't necessarily Kings Island themed?
They do. Sunday Fun Day is really good. That's a raspberry lemonade ale. I actually have some of that in my fridge right here.
I'm intrigued.
They have a Rally Cap Pilsner. That's pretty good too. Those are the only two that they have all the time that I really, really like. But
are you talking just at their tap room or also at Kings Island?
Right, I'm talking tap room right now.
Okay.
Because it's really not that far away. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of brewing different things and always having different options. But the two I mentioned are always on tap there.
Do they still have the Giga beer?
I don't know. I also have some of that.
That's the one I was thinking about when Orion came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a Giga ale, but yeah.
That one wasn't bad. I liked that one.
Yeah. But yeah, quick little plug for Sonder. If you're at Kings Island and it's hot and you want to get out of the sun, go to their tap room. It's not very far.
Yeah.
Cool. Trying to think, was there any other new food-y things at Kings Island? I know Enrique, and we'll get into this, the Adventure Port isn't open yet, but Enrique's Mexican Grill is open. I don't know if that's the official name. Enrique's is open, which is Hank's replacement. And I didn't really peek in there, but somebody said it's pretty much still the same. But that's okay because that was really good food.
Yeah, it was really good.
And I also want to plug Chicken Shack because I don't think enough people realize how good Chicken Shack is. And they also have sauce that they call the house sauce for a little bit of an upcharge if you're on the meal plan. I think it's like $1.30, but it's literally cane sauce. And honestly, the chicken is arguably better than Cane's. So just a little quick plug for Chicken Shack. And they were really humming along on opening day, or that was actually past holder day. Like they had a line out the door, and I think was in and out of there in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so that's pretty impressive for opening weekend.
Right, for having a brand new staff.
And brew house too. I mean, we waited in a line probably double, like the distance from the register to the door, double that. That's how long the line we waited in, and I think we had our food in 20 minutes.
Well, I think we were in line for less than 10, which was crazy.
Like I think from the time we got in line to the point we got our food was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was incredibly impressive for an opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
An opening day that was, I guess we'll just jump into our opening weekend report. Opening weekend that was an opening day that was, well, one, perfect weather. It was 80 degrees and sunny once the little bit of rain in the morning stopped.
Yeah.
And it was like a haunt Saturday. It was so busy.
It was very, very, very busy.
That my big takeaway though was, in general, the ride operations were really good for an opening weekend. The food was fantastic for an opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And the park is just, I don't know, it's just so nice to have a Cedar Fair park open and humming along. And I mean, I know our friends at Carowinds and Kings Dominion and Knott's and Great America, they've been open, but I don't know, just
it's nice just to be
the local, one of our home parks just alive and going again, and everything's open. And Adventure Port, the part of it we can see, looks fantastic.
Yeah.
That area is just so colorful and vibrant now, and
I can't wait to see what like all the finishing touches that they're going to put on it. With all the colors and things like that.
Adventure Express. I mean, that's not open yet. We didn't even see trains on the track for it yet, so it's going to be a bit for that. I don't think it's even supposed to be open by Coaster Stock, but just once we see that operating in that whole area, just all the theming and colors, and it's really awesome. And Kings Island continues to just knock it out of the park year after year.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's cool because like they don't have to get like a crazy huge. Obviously, we love the crazy huge roller coasters and things like that, but like it's also nice to
I am stoked for Adventure Port. Like it looks
right, yeah.
And same with the Boardwalk. It's just these smaller family immersive experience editions that are just, and we talked about this with Adam last week, that are really just winning the day with Cedar Fair right now, and it's really awesome to see. And I'm so excited to have an area like that at Cedar Point, but especially one at Kings Island.
I feel like when once that whole area is done at Kings Island, I feel like we're just going to be transformed into like somewhere in Mexico or something where and just the whole vibe and the whole. I mean, there was even palm trees, like little palm trees and stuff.
Little potted palm trees, And I don't know, I don't know if I was with you or some of our other friends when we noted the big patio by the bar that's attached to Enrique's. I don't know, the Mercado or something it's called now. They redid that whole patio, and it's nice and open and fresh and clean looking. And
they could definitely sit a lot more, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting to see everything that that took place. And then I was able to.
I mean, Kyle, you're going to be like shocked when you see this for the first time.
Yeah.
It really is very different.
I did have a quick question though. I heard Adventure Express was closed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that
Adventure Express hasn't even got its trains back? It looks like.
Do you think that's because the new area isn't ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if it's not ready for Coaster Stock, we're gonna have issues because
it might not be.
It's not on the itinerary.
Fight me all you want. But Adventure Express is one of the best night rides in that park.
If it's not open we'll make sure we pull out like a laptop or something at night, and we'll sit around like the picnic table or something, and
There we go.
With our strawberry funnel cake.
Yeah.
Cider beer.
Now-
yeah, right.
Full disclosure, I am planning on going back to Kings Island sometime throughout the summer because I love Phantom Theater Encore, the show, so much. I am planning a trip back specifically to see that show.
Is that not going to be open yet by the time?
Nope, not.
Coaster Stock
No,
happens?
Kings Island never starts their main entertainment until the full-blown summer season, and Coaster
Gotcha.
Stock is before that.
They just wanted to get Kyle to fly back and see if he
Yeah.
could fly back one more time.
They knew what they were
Well,
doing.
I noted too that Coaster Stock weekend, they're only open till 9 on Friday and Saturday. So like even the fireworks aren't even going to be going on yet. The nightly fireworks shows.
Yeah, I was just say I was able to, with my Prestige Pass Plus, I was able to check out the VIP area and their VIP area and stuff and everything. The new one is actually under construction over there next to the restroom.
Next to the bathrooms, next to, yeah.
Looks really cool. Looks really nice, big and spacious and stuff. It's not like, in a big tent area. So.
And the current VIP area, the like temporary one, is set up like, I don't even know what this used to be during the summer, but where you would check in for ice skating during Winterfest,
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
where the current VIP area is. For those wondering. And unfortunately, the Bat, Drop Tower, Adventure Express, those all aren't ready to go yet. I don't know, but I feel like for an opening weekend, having all your major coasters open is a huge win, and they were all
your
humming
major
along.
coasters open. All of the trains were, running, and like they were.
Boy, did they need it!
Yeah, they were moving. I mean, all of the queues, like every single, like even the Midway, every single queue was freaking filled.
Even Backlot Stunt Coaster had almost a full queue. I mean, Diamondback full queue, Mystic full queue, Orion when it was open, full queue.
And it's not like the crews are moving. I mean, it's obviously opening weekend, so the crews are.
They're not going to be perfect.
They're not like super fast. I mean, they were way faster than what Six Flags and other parks and everything, do, but stuff. But
Busch
like
Gardens, Tampa.
But no, I think they did great. I think they really did great. So.
I can't move on without mentioning the racer line that we saw.
Oh my.
That was the longest line for a racer I've ever seen, and God, I never hope I see it that long again, because that was honestly scary.
Yeah, that was a long line. That was a long line.
I don't know what else. Is there anything else we could talk about from opening weekend? The mac and cheese at Coney Barbecue is like fantastic. That's kind of jumping.
Oh
food,
yeah,
but that was super good.
I was gonna say a little bit. Since we were talking a little bit about the crowd and stuff and everything, I did realize that the crowd seemed to be more younger, I guess you could say, and more like more
rowdy.
Teenagery and more rowdy-er than normal. I do want to say that Kings Island definitely saw there was an issue, and they definitely stepped it up to where we saw something. There was like a group that was like trying to like start a fight with another group or whatever of these kids, and you could see that Kings Island had security there, and then they also like made sure like it looks like department
security
and kept security there, and they had like department heads, and they like made sure they were in like vests, and they were very very like they were
visible.
Yeah, they were very visible to see, and that was throughout the rest of the night.
There was
so
security
definitely
everywhere in the park.
Yeah, definitely props to the park for handling that situation that went down.
And I think the next step here is, and we already saw Worlds of Fun do that, is unfortunately, fortunately, depending on how you look at it, implementing the chaperone policy, because I mean, amusement parks aren't babysitters.
Right. And I mean, it's sad to see because, like, I mean, they're like jumping into bushes and they're
and
kicking
it's not
mulch.
every kid. I mean, there are families that drop their kids, their 14-year-olds off that are just going to go there and ride Diamondback and eat some food and have some ice cream and get picked up and go home. But then there's other groups that go there and just I don't know, people act like it's a mall or something, that they don't really go there to ride rides. They just go there to hang out, quote unquote, and cause trouble.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to see because it ruins the experience for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, Kings Island hasn't said anything about doing a chaperone policy. Maybe this hopefully the park is thinking like, well, maybe this was just a one-off.
I mean, that was probably the busiest until like July. That's the busiest day they'll see. So
yeah. So if you're a teen and you're listening to this, tell your friends to knock it off.
Please
behave.
Try to have fun.
Have fun, ride roller coasters, play some games.
I don't know. Like when I was growing up, that crap happened at school. Keep that crap at school. Don't bring it to the amusement parks.
Yeah, for real. But anyway, let's turn it around a little bit here.
Yes.
But you know, so I do want to say really quick, the freaking game that I need to play at Kings Island, they have it's the bank a ball one where you gotta bank the ball in the basket kind of thing. Well,
the peach baskets.
Yeah, you can win a freaking like bride height sign kind of thing, but it's
the
a
old
giant,
Paramount style one.
I mean, a giant plushie, like a huge. It's like as tall as like I don't know Kyle standing up. He's like I don't know, but like it's so cool, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want it. It's like the length of like my bed kind of thing. But I'm so jealous. So.
And if you remember from the Paramount days, and maybe some rides quietly still have them. The you must be this tall to ride. The like kind of cream colored and red, and the red is like if you're that height you can't ride, and then the cream color.
And if anybody wants the Bob Ross, that's back too. I know people like that Bob Ross. So
those you must be this tall to ride plushies. Are they selling them too?
I don't think so.
If they are, they will sell out immediately because that is like such a cool thing to have if you're somebody that grew up at that park.
It's very stressful because I got to figure out how to bank the ball into the basket so that way I can get that. So Kyle, if you're good at it, Coaster Stock, please win me one.
Yeah, I was just about to offer. I'm pretty good at those midway games, so let me see what I can do.
All right.
You got homework. You can watch. You can watch on YouTube.
We'll have to win two though, because I want one as well.
All right, fair.
See,
fair. Hey, you get me one, and I'll buy you yours.
I know how to win it. I'm just not good at it.
I feel like I'm just gonna be like throw it in and bink, it comes right out. Bink,
and let me see if I could put this into words without the basket right here in front of us. But I played that at CoasterMania, Coaster Stock in 2021 and came very close to winning whatever the big prize was that year. And the thing is you have to throw the ball in a way that like it spins around the rim and just kind of settles into the basket.
And it just sets.
You can't just softly place it in the basket. It's going to bounce out. It has to like roll around the rim like a loop.
This is the stress that I have.
And that is coming straight from the Kings Island Games guy. So if Kings Island's listening to this and they know who worked at Coaster Stock in 2021, please don't fire him. But yeah, I won I think they had like small, medium, large, extra large prizes. I won 2 large prizes.
I was just say I was reading the rules because I was like really invested in this. And I think it's like $10 to play, I think. And it says if you get it on your first throw, if you bank it in the basket, you get a choice prize, and then everything else is kind of like
first throw.
Yep.
Oh, bet I can do that. Bet.
Yep.
I'm doing it.
Yep. Don't quote me on it because I might. I was sleepy, so maybe that
was an opening weekend special.
Yeah. So I'm like, Kyle, win me one so I can snuggle with my. You must be this tall. It's really cool. It's a really cool like photo op because you could take like a selfie or take a group photo in front of it because nobody's tall because they hang them from the ceiling and and like you have to be this tall to ride this ride and no one's that tall. So it's kind of cool unless you get like LeBron James or a basketball player in the park. So
you know what? I should just go down there this weekend and win it.
Oh, I will be so jealous if you like come on there and like. Hey.
It's supposed to be so crappy this weekend. I ain't going down there.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So a big event going on at Cedar Point. Finally, tickets got released today, I believe, right, Kyle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tickets got released today, and they are actually still available for CoasterMania at Cedar Point. So if you have a season pass or otherwise have a way to get in the park, it's $45, and if you need admission, it's $90.
Which is a really good price, both of those.
Yeah.
I've got to mention.
What you get?
Quick. It's always a super fun event. So let me read through the itinerary real quick, and then we can talk about favorite parts and stuff like that. So from 7 to 10 will be check-in, and it's worth noting that no late check-ins will be accommodated. So if you don't pick up your stuff by 10 o'clock, you're not participating in the event activities.
Yep.
7:30, the main gate opens. From 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., you have ERT on Wild Mouse, Gatekeeper, Matterhorn, Troika, and Atomic Scrambler. From 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., you have ERT on Millennium Force. And from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., you have ERT on Raptor, Blue Streak, and Valraven. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the souvenir distribution, which this year includes a CoasterMania pin, which is in there every year. Mm-hmm. And something new this year, something I'm very interested in, is instead of a t-shirt, which most people might wear once but never again, I never even wore them once.
I haven't worn mine from the last couple of years.
You now get a commemorative made-to-throw poster. So if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know I'm very into those made-to-throw posters, and I have way too many of them. But, yeah. So after that, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. is the CoasterMania Cruise, which this is something that they've done. Did they do it last year?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
I know they took a year off from it, but it's you get on the Jet Express and you get to cruise around the peninsula, so that's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., you have a special access photo op in the Millennium Force infield and drop area, and it's worth noting that is continuous. You can arrive anytime between 1 to 3 p.m. and get your picture taken by the Millennium Force drop.
Super excited for that.
Something that's different this year is normally you get served lunch at CoasterMania, but this year you're getting served dinner, and dinner is taking place from 5:30 to 7 p.m. From 7 to 7:30 is a Q&A session in the Lakeside Pavilion. And then for evening ERT, from 10 to 11 p.m., you have Wilderness Run, Woodstock Express, Magnum XL 200, and Gemini. And then from 10:30 to midnight, Steel Vengeance and Maverick.
This is an awesome itinerary. They really knocked it out of the park this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely have gone on record kind of rolling my eyes at, maybe not rolling my eyes, but being a little critical of CoasterMania. But they've really took a 180 on this, because this looks like it's going to be really awesome.
And I'm excited for the dinner instead of having lunch.
Yes, I agree.
You know, change it up.
Because then, I don't know, in years past, it's like, okay, so you have your lunch, and usually the cruise is, right around that same time. And then it's like, okay, what do we do till the RT?
Right.
It's I don't know, it's going to break the day up more. And I don't know, all that stuff kind of in the afternoon and evening is going to make for a nice, relaxation, but still get a lot of rides in on both sides of it.
And I feel like that the Q&A is going to be on fire, because everyone's going to want to ask, reimagining Top Thrill Dragster questions to the park. So,
you mean that giant lawn ornament? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and for only $45, you get a lot packed into that day.
Yeah, I was thinking a special edition made to thrill poster goes for more than $45.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've bought plenty of made to throw posters, and if it's a limited release like this is gonna be, you're looking at $50 just for the poster.
Yeah. Well, Karsten, didn't they have one for CoasterCon last year, and wasn't that $100 or something? Crap?
I'm looking at it. It's hanging on my wall. It was not $100. I would not have paid that.
I think it was $50.
Yeah, I think it was 50.
Okay, well, it was more than $45. So I mean, it's worth it for you to come in and stay till at least 10 a.m.
Yep.
Get your poster and leave. I'm not telling people to do that, but for that price, it is more than worth it.
Yeah, and sadly, with me coming down for Coaster Stock and then a couple other summer trips I have planned, I don't think I'm gonna make it to CoasterMania, but I still might buy one just to get the poster. So if any of our listeners can help me out and pick up my poster, I'll pay for shipping.
No, I think, well, obviously you're I don't know how many hours you're getting of ERT, but you're getting a ton of hours of ERT, which, and if anybody doesn't know what ERT is, it's exclusive ride time, meaning you get to ride either before the park opens to the public or after the park closes, after the public has to go home. You're still riding coasters, which is really, really cool. And then I was going to say, another thing that we're missing. So yes, a gate admission, gate admission. If you want to get a really, really cheap ticket, I think you can get like a Bring a Friend ticket for $39.99. So say $40 right there. But then you're also getting that poster, which is another say $40. And then you're also, if you don't care about the ERT and whatever else and everything, well, there's two things. First, you're also getting a free meal. So if you don't have the meal plan or anything, you're getting the meal, and then you're also getting the big cruise around Cedar Point in Lake Erie. You get to go all the way around and you get to take pictures and things like that. I mean,
I think we've mentioned before that if they wanted to just put a ticket on sale to do a cruise around the Cedar Point like all summer, people would spend $50 and do that.
Yep. I mean, gas alone for the boat is more than that.
Literally.
You know? Honestly,
it looks like you get 2 hours of ERT in the morning and 2 hours of ERT in the evening for a combined total of 4 hours for the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's also like Tony was saying, like on his Twitter page, he was saying that it's going to be super, super limited. Like it sounds like it's going to be under 600 people. So there's not going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be very exclusive. And
I'm shocked it hasn't sold out yet. So
I'm
get on there and buy your ticket,
excited.
Please.
Super excited.
Or don't, because then that's less people there. But
no, definitely go check out Cedar Point's website. Click on their events page and go.
I do want to mention too that they are running a deal at Express Hotel that if you stay Thursday and the Friday, Cedar Point's Express Hotel, it's $89. That's a steal.
Yeah, because I was looking at hotels beforehand and it was like, I don't know, like $150 to $200. Or if you want to stay area. If you want to stay at Hotel Breakers, it's $199. It's only,
Yeah, and for comparison, the South Shore Inn, which is a motel near the park, is charging over $200 a night. So, stay on Cedar Point property because for whatever reason they're cheaper than everybody else. Even Sawmill is like $180.
Now, I do have kind of a two-part question here. Traditionally, CoasterMania takes place on the same day as the start of Hollywood Nights. Is that the case this year?
Yeah.
And I know Hollywood
Nights
probably
why things aren't sold out yet.
Yeah, and I know Hollywood Nights was like a lottery system this year, and it was super hard to get tickets. Are either of you going?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I didn't even. I think this year they did do a kind of like a hybrid version of first come first serve and lottery. But I knew just with my plans this summer and vacation time and stuff that Hollywood Nights probably wasn't going to happen. So I just didn't even bother.
I haven't been there. I haven't been there probably in 2 or 3 years. Like it was like the first time
last time
I took a break from that event. And CoasterMania is a if you're a Cedar Point fan and you don't get to go a lot, or if you do get to go a lot, and you want to ride a lot of
CoasterMania is like a great event for somebody that maybe they're a gold pass holder and they go like 4 times a year.
And the best part is about CoasterMania is they actually dropped having to be a coaster in a coaster club. Before, you used to have to be in a coaster club or something like that and have to prove that you were in a coaster club. Now it's free game. Anybody can sign up and go. So
do it. We're salesmen now.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of signing up, I was able to sign up for
That's our first good transition of the night.
Midway game night, and I got to do it last Thursday. It was really cool. Like the experience, I thought it was really cool. So I got my box in the probably like 3 days before Thursday. I didn't need to have the box before then, which is good. But I got my gift card and I got the Knott's Berry Farm, the
boysenberry concentrate.
Yep. That I got my Maverick T-shirt because I was Team Maverick. I got a $10 gift card from Cedar Point, so I can use that, whenever I want. It was really cool.
What mouse card did you get?
It was green. I didn't really get into it, but yeah, it was green. They also gave you a cool little recipe card to make drinks with that boysenberry punch.
Nice.
And I'm trying to think. Oh, there was also popcorn too.
Nice.
I didn't pop it. But it looked like it was like a sticker that was put on the popcorn thing. But anyway, it was a really cool. It was only $50, and then like I said, you get a $10 Cedar Point gift card.
How did the trivia work? Like,
Yeah, so it was pretty much like, so I logged on. There was like over 100 some people. I unfortunately, my app, the app was a little wonky at times to where there's like a wager part, and I tried to wager like points, like I was like putting them all on the line, and for some reason it timed out and it wouldn't let me put any points on the line. So everyone was like 2,000 points and I was stuck at like 400 points. So I'm happy to say that I was able to like climb back up until like, I don't know, I think I finished like 26th or something. But the trivia were really cool. They had some really, really crazy trivia questions. Like, what
were
was
they
it?
all about Cedar Point?
No, they weren't all about Cedar Point. Like, I'd say probably like a good 80% of them were Cedar Point, and then they were like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we're gonna jump into doing some pop trivia, kind of your pop culture."
So it was an app on your phone, and you log in with like a code or whatever.
Actually, it just gives you a website, so you're able to go actually on the website, and then
so you
I was
log
like,
in on your laptop.
yeah. So you click on the link, and then you like put like a username in there.
Was there like a host? Like, was Tony running this, or like?
Yeah, so there was. I can't remember the host name, but he was from. I can't remember who.
The game company, whoever.
Yeah, the game company. I can't remember the name, but so he was. He was the host, and he was talking about it and stuff, and they had a little bit of different cameos,
like pre-recorded.
Yeah, you could, because it was nighttime and Tony was walking around on the midway during the day.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was cool. It was,
so
I thought it was.
You log on and it's like question 1, wager your points, and then it'll be like, what's the height of Al Raven's lift hill, and then
a little bit
A, B, C, D.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to. So for instance, here's one of the questions, and you guys, if you're listening, feel free to message the page just for fun and see if you got the answer right. And I'm curious to see if Evan, you get this right. So the question is the Gemini Racing hybrid coaster has been thrilling riders since 1978. Adding both red and blue sides together, what's the total track length of Gemini? Is it A, 8,125 feet? Is it B, 7,870 feet? Is it C, 6,997 feet? Or is it D, 4,552 feet? And also, it's a scaling. So if you answer really quickly, you get a lot more points.
Okay. I'm not going to say it out loud so that people can still message the page, but I'm going to say, look at your screen.
You're wrong.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, do you have a guess?
I don't know if Kyle, you there?
Sorry,
currently probably.
I had my mic muted.
I was going to say he's currently Googling it right now.
No. No. What are my options?
I'll go through real quick. So, A is 8,125 feet. B is 7,870 feet. C is 6,997, or D is 4,552.
And
don't say your answer.
No.
Just give me a little.
Just do like a 1, 2, 3.
Do like 1, 2, or 3. And then we'll see who messages the page and respond, and who responds to it. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I had to deal with. I'm happy to say I got it right, and I got 95 points for it too.
Now,
out of 100.
Was it a lucky guess though?
No.
Uh-huh.
That one was actually a lucky guess. Yeah. But I mean, so there was a lot more easier ones too. There was like, what was Cedar Point's, water park that was previously named, and there was Soak City, obviously.
Yeah. I wonder if the questions from each week were the same.
I don't know.
Kyle, did you have a guess? We kind of like just.
I'll edit this out if need be, but I'm gonna guess either 1 or 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll let you guys know once we're done recording.
Right. There we go.
But anyway, so it was fun, really cool. I hope they do them in in the future.
I hope
Like
they
I
do
said,
them when I have more money in my bank account.
there was over 100 people doing it, which is really cool.
So you figure there was 5 different sessions, so there was probably close to
there was someone that was like in the lead the whole entire time, and they got greedy and decided to bet it all on the line for the wager question, and then unfortunately they lost all their points. They went from first to last. So
good. That makes me happy. Do you know who it was? Like, is it somebody we know?
I have no idea. They didn't actually. It was like some random name or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up also to Kings Island's. Kings Island.
I want Kings Island to do this too. The game night thing, because
Hopefully-
there's a lot of good Kings Island trivia.
Hopefully, it comes to other Cedar Fair parks. So,
Well, like you hit us with that blue ice cream trivia, so
I know, right? Yeah, good stuff. But I think that's all we got. I think that might be it for this week's episode. Hopefully,
yeah,
we
we're
get back
sitting
into
right about an hour.
Hopefully we get back into possibly recording. I would love to start recording every 2 weeks, maybe every week if we get really popping with stuff, but definitely probably every 2 weeks. So definitely keep us on the radar when you're listening to us, that we're going to be coming out with more frequent updates because the parks are going to be opening again.
Yep.
You see your point. So
All right, well, that's going to end it for this week. Like Karsten said, hopefully we get back to a semi-regular recording schedule. Last year we did pretty good. We cranked out 1 a week for the duration of the summer season. So hopefully we can get back there. But regardless, we will be back hopefully next week with all the new news, updates, and everything else. That's it for me.
yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for listening. We will
Shout out
see
to
you
Kings
guys
Island.
Yeah, if you guys go back to Kings Island, let me know how it goes. But all right, take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.